Okay, we are starting with another important unit, autonomic nervous system. What do you mean by autonomous? So it works involuntary. The nature is it has an involuntary function. Involuntary का मतलब there is no consciousness. Okay, so it is below the consciousness level and it mainly controls the visceral function. So it is autonomous in nature. So how the central nervous system is being, how the nervous system is being divided is central nervous system or peripheral nervous system, and based on the functional, it is divided as autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. So what is the difference between autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system? कोई एक जना बताओ एक one difference. What is the difference between somatic and the autonomic nervous system? So who's going to tell me the difference between the somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system? अभी हमने बात की autonomic nervous system is mainly for controlling the visceral function, visceral activity. Somatic is for skeletal muscle activity. So the movement, the skeletal muscle activity, respiratory activity. So this is mainly controlled by somatic system. Now autonomic nervous system, it is divided into parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Okay? Now parasympathetic originate from craniosacral region and sympathetic is from thoracolumbar. So what is the difference between parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system? Sympathetic और parasympathetic में क्या difference होता है? This you must have read in physiology. Parasympathetic or sympathetic? Is anybody wants to say anything? What is parasympathetic nervous system do and what the sympathetic nervous system do? Don't come from the that door. If you need to come, you can use this door. Don't use to come from the back side. Okay, what is the difference is in the parasympathetic and sympathetic is parasympathetic ganglions, the location is different, that it is from the craniosacral region 379, that is the main. No, you are not allowed. No, close the door. Okay, so parasympathetic system, location wise it is different, and now there is preganglionic fibers and the postganglionic fibers, and what is the main neurotransmitter release? So what is the main neurotransmitter in the parasympathetic nervous system is acetylcholine. So acetylcholine is released as the main primary neurotransmitter. It is acetylcholine. While in sympathetic nervous system, it is noradrenaline. Okay, so preganglionic fibers, whether it is sympathetic or postsympathetic, parasympathetic or it is sympathetic, preganglionic fibers, they release acetylcholine. They release acetylcholine. In the parasympathetic, again the postganglionic fibers are short compared to preganglionic fibers. While in sympathetic nervous system, the postganglionic fibers either equal or they are longer than the preganglionic fibers. So that is the main difference between the location where it is arising and then comes the action. Okay? So they consist of preganglionic fibers and postganglionic fibers. They synapse at a ganglion. Now this ganglion is where they synapse. It is at the paravertebral column in the sympathetic nervous system, while in the parasympathetic nervous system it is close to the organs. Okay, so where they meet is that is close in case of acetylcholine, that is parasympathetic nervous system, and it is sympathetic. This is a paravertebral column where they synapse at a ganglion. So this is what is neuron, which has a cell body, and this cell body they transfer the information from one neuron to other neuron is through the release of a neurotransmitter, a chemical substance. So this is known as neurohumoral transmission. So what is the meaning of neurohumoral transmission is? Because these neurons release a chemical substance that is also known as humoral. So this chemical substance by which they transmit the information through the synapses or the neuroeffector junction, this is known as neurohumoral transmission. Okay, so this is a parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system. So you have preganglionic fibers and the postganglionic fibers. Preganglionic fibers, whether it is sympathetic, don't come from behind. You can go back. Whether it is parasympathetic or sympathetic, क्या है main neurotransmitter? Acetylcholine. So remember this, the main neurotransmitter in the parasympathetic nervous system is acetylcholine. Then come to sympathetic. Sympathetic में अगर प्रीगैंग्लियोनिक की बात करते हैं तो वहां पे न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर है एसिटाइलकोलिन और पोस्ट गैंग्लियन में है मेन नॉरएड्रेनालिन. ठीक है, विच इज ऑल्सो नोन एज नॉरएपिनेफ्रिन. सो व्हाट डज दैट मीन, नॉरएपिनेफ्रिन. फिर कुछ ऐसी साइट्स हैं जहां पे नॉरएपिनेफ्रिन नहीं रिलीज होता है इन सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम, जैसे स्वेट ग्लैंड्स हो गए. स्वेट ग्लैंड्स में दो देर इज अ सिंपैथेटिक इनर्वेशन, पर वहां पे रिलीज हो रहा है एसिटाइलकोलिन. ठीक है, वहां पे रिलीज होता है एसिटाइलकोलिन. और डोपामीन इज रिलीज इन केस ऑफ रीनल और मेसेंट्रिक वेसल्स. ठीक है, वहां पे हमारा डोपामीन रिलीज हो रहा है, वहां पे नॉरएड्रेनालिन नहीं रिलीज हो रहा. एड्रिनल मेड्यूला की बात करें तो एड्रिनल मेड्यूला में एपिनेफ्रिन रिलीज होता है, दैट इज सिंपैथेटिक सप्लाई, बट एपिनेफ्रिन रिलीज होता है इन थ्रू एड्रिनल मेड्यूला. ठीक है, तो ये कुछ एक्सेप्शंस हैं. ना सोमैटिक नर्वस सिस्टम की बात करें तो वहां पे अगेन देयर इज रिलीज ऑफ एसिटाइलकोलिन. इट डज नॉट साइनैप्स ऑन एनी गैंग्लियन आउटसाइड द सीएनएस, सोमैटिक नर्वस सिस्टम. ठीक है, so it releases acetylcholine and it mainly has a myelinated nerves and it basically controls the movement of skeletal muscle. And it has a voluntary control. ठीक है, ये डिफरेंस है कंपेयर टू ऑटोनॉमिक नर्वस सिस्टम. सोमैटिक को you can control it consciously, but autonomic nervous system cannot be controlled by consciousness. Now when we talk of parasympathetic or sympathetic, दो organs जो होते हैं they are supplied by both parasympathetic and sympathetic supply. Nerve supply दोनों ही होती हैं organs में and they balance each other activity. ठीक है, so they are usually antagonistic to each other. तो जब हम sympathetic की बात करते हैं तो sympathetic के साथ you can remember it has a sympathy towards heart. ठीक है, so it mainly activates in stress reaction. Whenever there is a stress or emergency के लिए डील करना होता है बॉडी को, so there the role is of sympathetic nervous system. So sympathy towards heart, so it stimulates the heart. Remember, sympathetic nervous system stimulates the heart. ठीक है, while parasympathetic क्या करेगा? It inhibits, and all other places sympathetic will inhibit and parasympathetic will stimulate. ठीक है, remember this, sympathetic system has a sympathy towards heart, so it stimulates the heart, while all other places it inhibits. While acetylcholine will depress the heart and all other places it stimulates. ठीक है, so just remember this difference, and then one by one when we'll taking the parasympathetic and sympathetic, we'll see the action. So this is the basic steps in neurochemical transmission. So you can see this is a precursor which has been actively uptaken by the neurons, whether it is cholinergic, so your choline can be taken, whether it is adrenergic, tyrosine can be taken. From the precursor, the neurotransmitter is synthesized with the help of the precursor inside the neuron, and then it go and stored into the vesicles. So these are the vesicles, they go and stored into the vesicles. So whenever there is any nerve impulse comes, there is a depolarization of the neuron occurs. This calcium influx will occur, and this will causes the fusion of vesicles to the membrane. So this is a presynaptic membrane and this is a postsynaptic membrane. Okay? So presynaptic membrane, you have certain receptors you have which causes negative feedback, and postsynaptic membrane you have again receptors which causes the action of the neurotransmitter. Okay? Which causes the action of the neurotransmitter. Now what are the receptors for parasympathetic nervous system? Muscarinic receptor and nicotinic receptors. Okay? So there are certain presynaptic receptors like alpha-2 receptor and muscarinic receptors, they causes a negative feedback. ठीक है, वहीं पे बीटा receptors and nicotinic receptor will causes increase in release of neurotransmitters. तो ये presynaptic receptors हैं which causes a feedback. ठीक है, so they could be autoreceptors same neuron पे present है, और heteroreceptor which are present on the other neurons. तो अगर एक न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर रिलीज हो रहा है, दैट इज अ केमिकल सब्सटेंस विच इज रिलीज यहाँ पे, सो इट विल एक्ट ऑन इट्स प्रीसाइनेप्टिक रिसेप्टर्स. अगर यहाँ पे ज्यादा रिलीज हुआ तो उसको बैलेंस कौन करेगा? प्रीसाइनेप्टिक रिसेप्टर्स, दैट इज alpha-2 receptor or a muscarinic receptors, M1 receptor it could be. So this will causes a negative feedback, it will inhibit the release of the neurotransmitter. और अगर वहीं पे निकोटिनिक रिसेप्टर और बीटा रिसेप्टर होगा तो इट विल कॉजेज इंक्रीज इन रिलीज ऑफ द न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर. ठीक है, इट विल इंक्रीज द रिलीज एंड इट मे डिक्रीज द रिलीज. सो नॉट ओनली देयर इज कोलिनर्जिक और एड्रिनर्जिक नर्वस neurotransmission is there, there is non-adrenergic, non-cholinergic neurotransmission is also present by the minor transmitters like release of ATP, there is release of neuropeptide Y, vasoactive intestinal peptides, nitric oxide. They are also the other kind of neurotransmission which can occur, that is the minor role. So even though there is this cholinergic nervous system is not working, or this is not working, adrenergic, there is some activity may be seen because of the release of these neurotransmitters. Okay, so whenever there is a section in the nerve supply of autonomic nervous system, there won't be any atrophy of the organ. What will happen is there will be activity of the organ will be disturbed. But अगर somatic nerve का section हो, so what will happen? There will be paralysis and atrophy of the muscle will happen. ठीक है, but there won't be any atrophy of the organ in case of autonomic nerve supply section. ठीक है, अगर वहाँ पे वो damage हो रही है या it is cut, then there is no atrophy of the organ, but its activity will be inhibited. So it mainly controls the activity of the organ. So now we start with the drugs acting on cholinergic system. So these are the objectives. At the end you should be able to describe the mechanism, type, doses, side effect, indication and contraindications of cholinergic drugs. So we see first a case, a man aged 45 years presenting with the gradual onset complaints of double vision, drooping of eyelids, difficulty in chewing food, weakness of limb which is accentuated by exercise. The symptoms fluctuate in intensity over time. So these are the symptoms of myasthenia gravis. So what is myasthenia gravis? Yes, it is an autoimmune disorder. Antibodies are present against the which acetylcholine receptor? Nicotinic NM type of receptor, which is present at the neuromuscular junction. Okay, these autoantibodies are present. Now we'll see what could be the pharmacological drug or the test can be, or how the diagnosis can be confirmed in this case. So first see how the synthesis, this is a cholinergic neuron, how the synthesis of acetylcholine occurs. Now actively choline is taken, and choline with the help of acetyl-CoA. So with the help of acetyl-CoA, it forms acetylcholine, and acetylcholine then stored into the vesicle. Whenever any nerve impulse comes, now there is depolarization occurs, it gets fused, and there is release of this acetylcholine. Now how the termination of action occurs. Termination of action occurs, it gets metabolized by the enzyme acetylcholinesterase. Okay, acetylcholinesterase is the enzyme which immediately breaks the acetylcholine, and then there is choline and acetate will form, and choline will be reuptake by the cholinergic neuron. So this is, now there are certain drugs which can inhibit this process, like hemicolinium is the one which will inhibit the choline to enter into the cholinergic neuron. Now another vasimicol is the another agent which can inhibit the acetylcholine entry into the vesicles. Okay, so another agent is botulinum toxin. So another important agent is botulinum toxin. Now botulinum toxin is inhibiting the release of acetylcholine. So remember, what does the botulinum toxin will do? It inhibits the release of acetylcholine. So it inhibits the action of acetylcholine. So these are not acting as an agonist or increasing the cholinergic activity. They are the agents which can inhibit the activity by acting on these neurons. So among this, what is important is your botulinum toxin, okay, which is used therapeutically. Where have you heard this use? Yeah, in cosmetics as a Botox therapy to remove the wrinkles. Now it has other uses also, that it is used in spasmodic torticollis, wherever there is a spasm of the muscle. Because what does this acetylcholine causes is, it causes the increase in muscle contraction. So by blocking the acetylcholine release, it decreases the spasm, and it is used in spasmodic torticollis. Hyperhidrosis. What is hyperhidrosis? Increase in sweating. ठीक है, वहाँ पे यूज होगा. Then incontinence, overactive bladder, because so this can be used because it can cause urinary retention. Then strabismus or blepharospasm. ठीक है, if there is a strabismus or blepharospasm, the spasm in the eyelids is so this blepharospasm or strabismus, it can be used. So these are the various conditions where botulinum toxin is used. Now what are the receptors we have and what are the important action? M1 receptor, remember these receptors can be asked and their action is very important in autonomic nervous system. If you have to understand, you need to remember the receptors, where are they present and what is the action. M1 receptor is present in the autonomic ganglion, gastric glands, enteric nervous system. This is again a part of autonomic nervous system. ठीक है, अभी हम यहाँ डील नहीं कर रहे बिकॉज यहाँ इसका इतना यूज नहीं है. बट देर इज एंट्रिक नर्वस सिस्टम विच हैव अ सप्लाई ऑफ पैरासिम्पैथेटिक, सिम्पैथेटिक, एंड इट कैन वर्क ऑन इट्स ओन. ठीक है, विच इज प्रेजेंट ऑन द गट वॉल. So enteric nervous system, then there is a CNS. In CNS also M1 receptor is present. So M1 का क्या रोल है? It causes depolarization, excitatory postsynaptic potential, histamine release, acid secretion, increase intestinal secretion, and learning, memory and motor activity in CNS. So what the side effect it may cause? अगर cholinergic agent आप दे रहे हो, what could be the M1 side effect? M1 related side effect? Yes, it can not be given in a peptic disease patient. Peptic ulcer है किसी को, वहाँ पे you will avoid it. It may increase the acid release, or you have to give, what is the blocker? That is anticholinergic agent you need to give. You can give as a therapeutically because it will decrease the acid release. So you can use this anticholinergic agent in peptic ulcer because it will decrease the acid release. And cholinergic drug you cannot give in the patients who have a peptic ulcer disease. Now autonomic ganglion, what it may cause? Autonomic ganglion in M1 receptor, it is present if it stimulates the ganglion. Now this ganglion causes sympathetic stimulation. Now कहीं पे predominantly sympathetic activity is more. So अगर blood vessels की बात करें तो वहाँ पे sympathetic activity is more compared to the parasympathetic activity. अगर ganglion पे अगर stimulation हो रहा है तो it will also stimulate sympathetic and also parasympathetic activity. पर क्योंकि blood vessels के ऊपर sympathetic innervation is there, parasympathetic innervation is not present in the blood vessels. Sympathetic innervation is present mainly, and though M3 receptor is present on the endothelium of the blood vessels, but parasympathetic innervation is not there. ठीक है, तो इसीलिए क्या होगा? There will be vasoconstriction because of the sympathetic activity. ठीक है, blood vessels के अंदर वहां पे sympathetic activity की वजह से there will be vasoconstriction. So it may increase the BP. पर अगर आप वैसे कोलिनर्जिक दोगे तो क्या होगा? एंडोथीलियम पे M3 रिसेप्टर प्रेजेंट होता है और वो क्या करता है? इट रिलीजेस एंडोथीलियम ड्राइव रिलैक्सिंग फैक्टर. ठीक है, दैट इज नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड, और वो करेगा वैसो डायलेशन. तो ऑटोनॉमिक गैंग्लियन का अगर इफेक्ट देखेंगे हम कोलिनर्जिक, सो दैट में इंक्रीज द बीपी. अदरवाइज कोलिनर्जिक का इफेक्ट क्या होता है? इट विल डिक्रीज द बीपी. M2 is present over the heart and CNS. It decreases heart rate, conduction, contractility, everything is being decreased by vagus supply, that is by M2 receptor. ठीक है, तो हार्ट पे कौन सा है? M2 receptor is present which causes bradycardia. So if there is a bradycardia, what can be given? Anticholinergic. ठीक है, so bradycardia है तो उस कंडीशन में क्या दोगे? Anticholinergic. Now M3 receptor is present in the smooth muscle and pupil, ciliary muscle and secretory glands. So it causes the contraction of the smooth muscle. M3 receptor क्या करेगा? Contraction of the smooth muscle. So it may cause diarrhea, bronchospasm, urination, all this will happen. So what are the side effects of anticholinergic? And the use of anticholinergic? Bronchodilation. So asthma में आप यूज करोगे anticholinergic, और it side effect could be urinary retention. So it will cause urinary retention. ठीक है, so this is where anticholinergics can be used. It is used as also spasmolytic. ठीक है, so it can be used as anticholinergic. कहाँ यूज? Because it is increasing the peristaltic activity. अगर paralytic ileus है तो आप क्या यूज करोगे? कोलिनर्जिक एजेंट. और एंटीकोलिनर्जिक कब यूज करेंगे? जब when there is increase in peristalsis is there, you can use anticholinergic agent. स्पेस्मोलाइटिक की तरह हम यूज करते हैं एंटीकोलिन. व्हेनेवर देयर इज एब्डोमिनल कोलिक और एनीथिंग, एज अ स्पेस्मोलाइटिक यू कैन यूज ऑल्सो एंटीकोलिनर्जिक एजेंट. ठीक है, तो यहीं पे व्हेन यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द एक्शन, यू कैन say what is the use of cholinergic drugs and anticholinergic drugs. So then there are M4 and M5 are also present in the CNS, but there is not much role. So what are the main receptors? M1 कहाँ पे present होते हैं? Yes, autonomic ganglion, gastric gland, CNS, centric nervous system, यहाँ पे M1 present है. M2 heart पे present है. M3 smooth muscle, then ciliary muscle contraction it may cause the spasm of accommodation. ठीक है, तो it also causes the spasm of accommodation. Why? Because of the contraction of ciliary muscle, and it also causes pupil constriction. Meiosis will occur when you give cholinergic drug. It may cause meiosis because of pupillary contraction. ठीक है, तो मियोटिक कहाँ यूज करते हैं? ग्लोकोमा में यूज करते हैं हम मियोटिक, और हम यूज करेंगे मियोटिक व्हेन वी वांट टू रिवर्स द इफेक्ट ऑफ मिड्रियाटिक, तो वहां पे हम मियोटिक यूज करेंगे. या हमें लेंस और आइरिस का एडहेशन हो रहा है, तो हम मिड्रियाटिक और मियोटिक ऑल्टरनेटिवली यूज कर सकते हैं, जिससे कि वो एडहेशन हट जाए. ठीक है, लेंस और आइरिस का. So these are the uses of meiotic, and cholinergic agent are causing meiosis by pupillary constriction. Then come to the nicotinic action by NM receptor, which is present in the skeletal muscle, and NN receptor is present in the autonomic ganglion, or so it is present in the autonomic ganglion and adrenal medulla. ठीक है, तो NN कहाँ present है? Autonomic ganglion and adrenal medulla. ठीक है, तो main nicotinic action will stimulate the autonomic ganglion and adrenal medulla to release epinephrine. ठीक है, और NM क्या करेगा? skeletal muscle contraction. तो skeletal muscle relaxants will be NM blocker. So now we will be studying what is the classification of direct and indirect these cholinergic agonists. Myasthenia gravis, Alzheimer's disease, and organophosphorus compound poisoning. Now this is important. So cholinergic drugs are divided as directly acting और indirectly acting. Directly मतलब जो receptor पे काम करे directly जाके, और indirectly acting जो increase करे acetylcholine का effect by decreasing its metabolism by inhibiting the acetylcholinesterase enzyme. तो cholinergic जो directly acting है, they are acetylcholine, pilocarpine, bithanol, methacholine and carbachol. ठीक है, इसमें they are natural alkaloids like pilocarpine, aricoline, muscarinic. These are natural alkaloids, acetylcholine. Now there is synthetic agents like bithanol, methacholine and carbachol are synthetic agents. Now indirectly acting का मतलब क्या हुआ? acetylcholinesterase को inhibit. So they are known as cholinesterase inhibitors. ठीक है, इनको कहते हैं cholinesterase inhibitors. इसमें दो तरह के हैं, reversible and irreversible. So reversible again being divided as lipid soluble and water soluble. Lipid soluble you have physostigmine, tacrine, donepezil, rivastigmine and galantamine. तो ये वाले जो एजेंट हैं, they will cross the blood brain barrier and they can have an effect in the CNS. ठीक है, physostigmine की बात कर रहे हैं, या हम donepezil, rivastigmine, galantamine या tacrine की बात कर रहे हैं. So they are lipid soluble, they can cross the blood brain barrier and they have an effect in the CNS. तो कहाँ हम यूज करेंगे इन एजेंट्स को? जहां भी हमें CNS मैनिफेस्टेशन चाहिए तो वहां हम ये वाली एजेंट यूज करेंगे. वाटर सॉल्युबल यू हैव नियोस्टिग्मिन, पारिडोस्टिग्मिन एंड इड्रोफोनियम. दे आर वाटर सॉल्युबल and they are usually cannot cross the blood brain barrier and therefore they are used basically for peripheral action. Then you have the irreversible agents like organophosphates and carbamates. ठीक है, organophosphates और carbonates कहाँ यूज होते हैं? They are insecticides, pesticides, so they can be used there. And इससे क्या हो सकती है? Poisoning हो सकती है. Whenever you get exposed to these agents, irreversible acetylcholinesterase inhibitors, then there could be poisoning can occur. So this is known as organophosphate poisoning or carbamate poisoning. So what are the agents you have? Malathion, parathion, diazinon, chlorpyrifos, icothiophrate, and nerve gases like tabin, sarin, soman. So these are there. Carbamates, you have carbaryl, propoxur. These are the drugs. So you can remember these are the agents which in irreversible organophosphate are because of the chemical nature, either organophosphates or carbamates. Come to the important points of directly acting drugs, their action and the use. Acetylcholine बहुत जल्दी मेटाबोलाइज होती है, so that it is not used. ठीक है, it get rapidly metabolized. Now there is another esterase which is metabolizing the acetylcholine, that is butyryl cholinesterase, जो कि प्लाज्मा में प्रेजेंट होता है. It slowly metabolizes the acetylcholine. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे इतना रोल नहीं है, इसीलिए we are not talking about it. साइनेप्सिस पे क्या प्रेजेंट होता है? एसिटाइलकोलिनेस्ट्रेस, जो कि रैपिडली मेटाबोलाइज करता है एसिटाइलकोलिन को. एसिटाइलकोलिन इज नॉट यूज्ड बिकॉज इट इज रैपिडली मेटाबोलाइज्ड. देन यू हैव मेथाकोलिन. मेथाकोलिन इज अ मैक्सिमम एक्शन ऑन द मायोकार्डियम. ठीक है, वेयर इट इज यूज्ड फॉर डायग्नोसिस ऑफ ब्रोंकियल हाइपर एक्टिविटी. यही यूज होता है, दो इट हैज अ मैक्सिमम एक्शन ऑन द मायोकार्डियम, but its use is to diagnose the bronchial hyperactivity. Okay, so if you give methacholine, it may cause bronchoconstriction. Okay, so to diagnose that, this is known as methacholine challenge test. If the patient is asthmatic or not, if you want to diagnose it, okay. If you want to diagnose asthma, this is used, but not nowadays it is used much, but this is the methacholine challenge test. So small amount of methacholine can cause the bronchial hyperactivity. Okay, can induce an asthmatic attack. So that is methacholine. Bethanachol, not much used nowadays, methacholine also. Bethanachol, it causes urinary retention. So no nicotinic activity is seen. So bethanachol is mainly used for urinary retention. ठीक है, वहां पे यूज होता है यूरिनरी रिटेंशन में, क्योंकि ये क्या करता है? डेट्रूसर कॉन्ट्रैक्शन होती है एंड ट्राइगोन ऑफ द ब्लैडर इज रिलैक्स्ड. सो व्हेन यू गिव द cholinergic agent, it will causes the detrusor contraction and trigone of the bladder is relaxed. ठीक है, so it is useful in urinary retention. तो वहां पे यूज होता है इसका, and it has no nicotinic activity. Pilocarpine is mainly used as a meiotic. ठीक है, it has a meiotic action. It is used in glaucoma. And the side effect is dry mouth, or it is also used in dry mouth. Dry mouth is a side effect of anticholinergic drug. तो pilocarpine का use है as a meiotic in glaucoma, or it is also used in dry mouth condition like Sjogren syndrome. Sjogren syndrome है, that is causing decrease in the secretion, salivary gland secretion. So in that condition you can use, because it stimulates the secretion. Salivation हो गया, lacrimation हो गया, so all this secretion gets stimulated by cholinergic agents. So these are the main uses and action of these drugs. Indirectly acting, you have indirectly acting का क्या मतलब? cholinesterase को इनहिबिटर करते, तो इसमें है फाइजोस्टिगमिन का CNS एक्शन भी रहेगा, एंड इट इज ऑल्सो यूज टू पोटेंशिएट द एक्शन ऑफ पाइलोकार्पिन. कैसे पोटेंशिएट करेगा? By inhibiting the metabolism of acetylcholine, it increases the acetylcholine action, so it potentiates the action. Okay, so physostigmine is also used as a miotic in glaucoma. Belladonna poisoning. Belladonna poisoning, it is the drug of choice or it is an antidote for belladonna poisoning. Belladonna poisoning क्या होती है? Atropine की poisoning होती है, वहां पे you have to give physostigmine. Neostigmine. Now neostigmine is a quaternary ammonium compound. It cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. ठीक है, ये tertiary अमीन नहीं है जो कि physostigmine है. It is a quaternary ammonium compound. Neostigmine, it cannot cross. It is a water-soluble compound. It cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. Then it is mainly used in myasthenia gravis. ठीक है, myasthenia gravis में neostigmine use करते हैं हम. और neostigmine क्या करता है? It also has a direct action on the NM receptor. It not only increases the acetylcholine, but it also has a direct action on NM receptor. It is also used in cobra bite. Cobra venom क्या करता है? It inhibits the release of acetylcholine. So it is used in cobra bite. It is also used to reverse the action of neuromuscular blockers. Now it is used with atropine. Why it is used with atropine in this condition? मस्कुरेनिक साइड इफेक्ट्स को इनहिबिट करने के लिए इट इज यूज्ड विथ एट्रोपिन की निकोटिनिक इफेक्ट आए ओनली, क्योंकि यहाँ पे हमें सिर्फ निकोटिनिक इफेक्ट चाहिए. इसका नियोस्टिग्मिन का हमें निकोटिनिक इफेक्ट चाहिए, हमें मस्कुरेनिक इफेक्ट नहीं चाहिए, तो उसको हमें ब्लॉक करना है. तो उसको ब्लॉक करने के लिए आप एट्रोपिन, सो व्हेनेवर यू नीड ओनली निकोटिनिक इफेक्ट, एट दैट टाइम प्री ट्रीटमेंट विद एट्रोपिन इज गिवन. तो एट्रोपिन क्या करेगा? एट्रोपिन इज अ मस्कुरेनिक ब्लॉकर, नॉट अ निकोटिनिक ब्लॉकर. ठीक है, तो वो मस्कुरेनिक एक्शन को इनहिबिट कर देता है. So then it is used in post-operative paralytic ileus, atony of urinary bladder, because it increases the urinary contraction, and that's why it is used in atony of urinary bladder or post-operative paralytic ileus, because it increases the peristalsis. So kabhi-kabhi you have to use post-operative paralytic ileus, you can give this neostigmine. Then pyridostigmine. Pyridostigmine is a longer acting alternative for neostigmine, and similarly you can use idrophonium. Idrophonium is used for diagnosis of myasthenia gravis. It is a very short acting and it is used for diagnosing the myasthenia gravis, whether it is due to cholinergic crisis or it is a myasthenia gravis. If it is myasthenia gravis, idrophonium, you can start with the 2 milligram and then go to the 8 milligram. If there is improvement in the strength, तो क्या होगा? Myasthenia gravis. If there is an improvement in the strength of the muscle, तो वो है myasthenia gravis. अगर cholinergic crisis है तो that will deteriorate, because it is all again increasing the cholinergic activity. So अगर cholinergic crisis की वजह से if there is this muscle weakness is there, then it will deteriorate. ठीक है, तो it is used as it, and this test is known as Tensilon test. Idrophonium is used for testing or diagnosing the myasthenia gravis disease. Then you have Tecrin, Donepezil, Rivastigmine and Galantamine. Where it is used? Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease में क्या होता है? There is a dementia. Basically there is destruction of the cholinergic neurons and decrease in cholinergic transmission in Alzheimer's disease. So this dementia can be improved by giving this drug. Tecrin is not much used. Why it is not used? Short acting, hepatotoxicity is there, so it is not used much. So rivastigmine or donepezil as once a day dose is given. So just answer, a patient of diabetes mellitus develop post-operative urinary retention. Which of the following drug can be used for short-term treatment to relieve the symptoms of this person? Butanol, methacholine, terazosin, tamsulosin. Yes, butanol. Why not methacholine? Methacholine is mainly more active on myocardium. And bronchospasm can occur. So bronchospasm can occur while methanol has no nicotinic activity. ठीक है, तो more selective है methanol. It has no nicotinic activity and it is more active for this urinary bladder. So butanol is used, while methacholine can have it is non-selective, it can have a nicotinic action too. And methacholine is more for myocardium, so methacholine is not used, butanol is used. Also mention the contraindication of the chosen drug. क्या contraindications होंगे, कहाँ नहीं यूज कर सकते? वहां पे ब्रोंकोस्पैज्म आता है. अगर अस्थमा का पेशेंट है तो वहां हम नहीं यूज करेंगे, उन पेशेंट में हम नहीं यूज करेंगे इसे. ठीक है, अगेन और कहाँ नहीं यूज करेंगे? पेप्टिक अल्सर है, ठीक है, वहां हम यूज नहीं करेंगे बिकॉज इट मे इंक्रीज एसिड सिक्रीशन. इट डज नॉट हैव अ निकोटिनिक एक्शन बट इट हैज अ मस्कुरानिक एक्शन, though more effect on urinary bladder. Myasthenia gravis, where you see because of the autoimmune, this dropping of eyelids, slurring of speech and all this, and there's difficulty in breathing. So what are the treatment? You have immunosuppressants, azathioprine, cyclosporine, that is being given. Now this will decrease the autoimmune antibodies. Thymectomy can be done because the antibodies are produced from the thymus. So thymectomy is done. Acetylcholinesterase inhibitors, neostigmine or pyridostigmine can be given, or amidonium. These are more preferred, which are in the red. Idrophonium is used for diagnosis, and other supportive measures is to be given as a treatment of myasthenia gravis. Another one agent which is being used is methylprednisolone IV pulse therapy. Okay, it is started with this, that is corticosteroids. So corticosteroids also have an immunosuppressant, so it is also come under the immunosuppressant. Okay, corticosteroids are given as the first therapy. We are starting with the immunosuppressant, that is corticosteroids. Okay, so IV methylprednisolone is given. Now after that, after some time, then you will start with neostigmine. Alzheimer's, you have these tacrine, rivastigmine and donepezil or galantamine. So these are the drugs to be used in Alzheimer's. Now which one is not used? Tacrine now because of the side effect hepatotoxicity. And donepezil has once a day dosing advantage. Now coming to the irreversible cholinesterase inhibitor organophosphate poisoning. So what are the symptoms? Muscarinic overstimulation can cause increased salivation, lacrimation, urination, defecation, GI cramps, MSS. So these are all the side effects, these are all the symptoms of overstimulation of the muscarinic receptor. And nicotinic overstimulation can cause, so gives tension, weakness and paralysis. अगर कोलिनर्जिक एक्टिविटी इंक्रीज हो गई, ज्यादा इंक्रीज हो जाती है, दैट विल ऑल्सो कॉजेज द वीकनेस ऑफ द मसल. Overactivity of the overcholinergic activity in the muscle may cause down regulation of the receptor and it may cause weakness of muscle activity. So overstimulation, nicotinic symptoms will be hypertension, there will be weakness and paralysis. अच्छा, कौन बताएगा बीपी कैसे इंक्रीज होगा अगर देयर इज निकोटिनिक इफेक्ट? कौन सा रिसेप्टर इन्वॉल्व है यहाँ पे? NN receptor on the autonomic ganglion. NN receptor on the autonomic ganglion will stimulate the sympathetic nerves and that will cause the hypertension. ठीक है? So nicotinic action is because of NN receptor on the autonomic ganglion which will stimulate the sympathetic, and sympathetic predominance is there on the blood vessel that will cause hypertension. क्या ट्रीटमेंट है ऑर्गेनोफॉस्फेट पॉइजनिंग? मेंटेनेंस ऑफ वाइटल साइंस, so you have to maintain the vital signs, decontaminate to prevent the further absorption. So how can you decontaminate? By removal of the clothes, washing of skin and all that you can do. Then the D antidote is atropine. So atropine has to be given 2 milligram IV and every 10 minutes you can repeat till the atropinization occurs. So when you can see atropinization occur? Dry mouth. ठीक है, अगर dry mouth दिख रहा है or if there is a mydriasis is seen, that means atropinization occurred. So till then you have to give atropine, but it will not block the nicotinic receptor. Atropine क्या block कर रहा है? Muscarinic action. So when there is difficulty in the respiration or the muscle weakness is more, at that time you can give oxymes. ठीक है, at that time you can give oxymes, that is pralidoxim. So pralidoxim can be given, so you can give as a loading dose 30 milligram per kg and then you can go to 10 to 20 milligram you can given as an infusion. ठीक है, so this is the therapy for organophosphate poisoning and it goes for 1 to 2 weeks. So what is the indication for using oxymes? If there is a respiratory problem or muscle weakness is there, then you have to start with the oxymes. So oxyme क्या करेगा? Oxyme will help to acetylcholinesterase inhibitor है, तो acetylcholinesterase को ये oxyme will bind to the both anionic and estric site and it will causes the removal of the organophosphates and relieve the acetylcholinesterase. ठीक है, because it has a more stronger bond with the anionic and estric site, but you are not supposed to give it in carbamate poisoning. Carbamate poisoning में ये contraindicated होती है when you give oxymes in carbamate poisoning. So why it is contraindicated in carbamate poisoning? क्यों contraindicated है? Because anionic site is not free in carbamate poisoning. ठीक है, anionic site is not free. दो साइट होती हैं acetylcholinesterase enzyme पे, anionic site और estric site. Now it binds to the sites anionic site and estric site. So now this anionic site is not free in case of carbamate poisoning, so it does not work in carbamate poisoning. And another thing is it itself inhibits, it has a mild inhibition of acetylcholinesterase itself. So it will further precipitate this carbamate poisoning. ठीक है, तो इसीलिए हम carbamate poisoning में नहीं देते. And oxyme should be given before the aging of acetylcholinesterase occur. ठीक है, तो you whenever you notice the symptoms of muscle weakness or if there is some respiratory, अगर muscle weakness हुई तो respiratory problem होगी. ठीक है, breathing problem will be there. So if you notice, start early oxymes. ठीक है, जितना delay करोगे their aging of the acetylcholinesterase enzyme will occur and this will further inhibit the action of oxymes. So this is again a question which is repeatedly asked, why oximes are contraindicated in carbamate poisoning. तो क्या है दो reason? So an ionic site is not free and another is, yes, acetylcholinesterase itself. So that's why oximes are contraindicated in carbamate poisoning. So just to summarize, so what are the uses of cholinergic drugs? Muscarinic uses, glaucoma, pilocarpine you have, physostigmine, icothiophates, so these are used. Alzheimer's, you have these lipid-soluble drugs, tacrine, donepezil, rivastigmine and galantamine. Sjogren syndrome, dry mouth, there is again pilocarpine and cevimeline is used. Belladonna poisoning, you have physostigmine. Post-operative paralytic ileus, again bethanocol or neostigmine. Urinary retention, again bethanocol or neostigmine. Diagnosis of bronchial hyperreactivity, you have methacholine. Nicotinic uses, reversal of muscle relaxant activity, neostigmine or pyridostigmine. Myasthenia gravis, you have for diagnosing. Hydrophonium for treatment, you have neostigmine or pyridostigmine, and for cobra bite you have again neostigmine or pyridostigmine. So now you can answer this question, can a pharmacological test be performed to confirm the diagnosis? Which one? Tensilon test, that is hydrophonium. In case of the diagnosis is confirmed, can this disease be cured by medication? It cannot be cured by medication. You can only relieve the symptoms. ये cure नहीं होती है disease. You can relieve the symptoms. If there is a surgical solution, yes, there is a surgical solution. Thymectomy can be done. But again, you are not sure whether it will be cured. Okay? So we'll finish it here. Any doubts you have?